Welcome back, my friends, to another episode of the Woggers Way. I'm Uncle Brian with Woggers General Services in Las Vegas, Nevada, and today I'm going to show you an alternative to a video I posted a couple weeks ago on how to clear a clog in your bathroom sink. Now in that video, I showed you the full and proper way to clean out your bathroom sink drain by removing not just the stopper, but also the P-trap. But one of my subscribers, Gregster65, commented on how he just cleans out the drain from the sink without removing the P-trap. Now in my 60-second short on that video, I also had another person, we'll call her a hater, say the same thing but in a very hateful and mean way. And my followers jumped all over her in the comments. So just a quick shout out to thank all those that put her in her place. God, I have the best followers. I love you guys. And as a thank you to Gregster65, I'm going to send you something from my merchandise line. And for the hater out there, yeah, you don't get anything. Now normally I don't recommend doing it like I'm going to show you in this video because you could actually push the clog further down into the drain pipes, resulting in more work and possibly having to snake out your drain. That being said, there may be an instance in which doing it this way may be the best alternative. Also, near the end of this video, in the event that you do push that clog further down the drain pipe, I'm going to show you something that you can use to snake out your drain into and past the P-trap without having to call a plumber. So stay tuned for that. Now let's get into it. So here we have a pedestal sink. Now pedestal sink, the problem with that is you don't have a cabinet underneath it where you can just open the door and get to the plumbing pipes. Everything here is contained in behind the pedestal. And I'll give you a close-up shot of showing what that is. You can't get to all the pipes. So in other words, this is your setup for your pipes. So you have your pop-up stopper, that's the part of the sink. You got your ball rod, which raises and lowers the stopper, which is activated by your little pull rod right here. This is your valve body. You may or may not have an extension tube, depending on how far down your P-trap is located in the wall. If it's too far down, you need an extension tube to cover that gap. If your P-trap is up high enough and can engage with the valve body, you don't need this extension tube. And then it goes out to your drain pipes in your wall. Well, the problem is the clogs normally happen right up in here, because you have your horizontal ball rod, which comes into the pipe, your stopper in here, and it takes up a lot of room inside the drain. So when stuff starts getting down the drain, stuff other than water, it starts hanging up on the ball rod and all the mechanism in there, and it creates a little bird's nest in there, and it kind of clogs everything up. So you want to clear that out. Now sometimes you'll also have the clog down here in the P-trap, but majority of the time it's up here, which if you look at the other video, it tells you about taking all this apart to be able to clean it out. The only problem is with this pedestal sink, we can't get to all this. All this is blocked by the pedestal. Now sometimes if they put the pedestal in right, you can pull the pedestal out because the sink itself is mounted to the wall. The pedestal just helps support it, but a lot of times you can pull the pedestal out. Now, the problem is most people will caulk between the pedestal and the sink and the pedestal and the floor. So now you can't get it out. This one is that way, it's sealed in there, so I can't get the pedestal out without actually taking the sink and everything out also, which I don't want to do. So the fast and dirty way of doing this is not to clean out the P-trap, because chances are there's probably not too much down in here. It's all going to be up in here. So the way we can get to this is you take off the horizontal rod so it can reach in behind, and we can undo this nut right here, which releases a horizontal rod. Hold your stopper, pull your rod out, take your stopper out. Now we can run our drain snake down here and clean out everything in here. Now the reason I say I don't like doing it this way is because if there's a large amount of crud up in here and you go down to try to clean it out, instead of cleaning it out, you could possibly push it further down, in which case now it's going to get clogged into your P-trap, and you might not be able to get it out of there. So that's why I don't like doing it this way. I like taking out the P-trap and cleaning everything out, and then you don't have to worry about it. But in this case, we don't have that opportunity. So, and the nice thing about this one is there's no stopper in this sink. The ball rod, so this ball rod which goes in there and then engages with the stopper and raises and lowers it, this part of the ball rod a lot of times will just rot away because it's just metal and water goes down there all the time and it gets rusty and it just deteriorates. So that's what happened here. And then the stopper has nothing to attach to, so it won't move up and down. So you just pull the stopper out and you leave it like this, and maybe you use a little rubber stopper in there if you want a stopper until you take it all apart and replace it. So the nice thing is, since we don't have this, I don't have to worry about taking all this apart. We're open, but if you have your stopper in there, you just reach down behind here, take off the retaining nut that holds the ball rod on, pull the ball rod out just enough to get your stopper out. So then you'll have this. Now if you notice on this thing, when we run the water, it just backs up. So you can see that just a little bit of water so far I've gone in there and it's already backing up. It backs up right away and it doesn't drain out. It drains out very, very slowly. So we want to clear that clog out of there. So chances are it's going to be in the valve body, not in the P-trap. So first thing you want to do, if you can get down there, pull the retaining nut out, pull the ball rod out. Now some of the water is going to be coming out of this hole in the back, so you want something back there to catch the water, or at least suck the water out of the sink first. So like this one, see, it's already gone, it drained out. So it just drains out really slowly. So if you can get a sponge or a rag or a shop vac or something and get the water out of here, so when you pull the nut off the ball rod and pull the ball rod out, you don't have a lot of water gushing out back there. Okay, especially here, since we're so close, I can't get anything back in there to catch it, so I'd have to put a towel or something down there to catch the water. But this one drains out pretty well, so we probably don't have a whole lot in there. So let's go ahead and grab our hair snake, which is this. We talked about this in the other video. It's just a thin plastic strip, and it's got these little barbs on there, and those barbs are what catch the hair and gunk down in here. So we're going to run this down there. We'll try to catch out and pull it out. I'm assuming there's not going to be a lot down in here because this does drain fairly quickly, so I'm assuming there's not a lot in there. Now another thing I mentioned in the other video is this brush. I call it a pipe brush, but it's actually used for cleaning out the vents in your dryer. But it works really well for cleaning out pipes. Now in that one, I talk about pushing this down through here to get all the clog out, the clog and the gunk out of there. But the only problem is you need to have that P-trap. The P-trap here, we need to take that off, because when we run this down the pipe, we're not pulling the stuff out, we're pushing it down. So when you want this P-trap out of there, so you can just push it down and out. With the P-trap in there, all we're going to do is end up pushing it into the P-trap, which we don't want to do. So we're trying not to use this. We're only going to use our hair snake. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and run that down in here. Hopefully it'll catch enough stuff. Now the nice thing about this hair snake, and I'll put a link to it down below, it's very long, it's like 25 inches. So it will even reach down into the P-trap. So if there's anything in the P-trap, hopefully it'll get it out of there. So all we do is just, before I do this, you know what, I'm going to go get some gloves because this could be nasty. While I'm out grabbing some gloves, I just want to take a moment to tell you of my goal for next year, 2025. By the end of that year, my goal is to reach 15,000 subscribers. So, if you find my videos helpful, I'd appreciate a tap on that subscribe button to help me reach that goal. Now I'm going to conduct monthly drawings all year long to send some free merchandise to lucky subscribers. So if you subscribe, you'll get in on the drawings. Okay, I got my gloves. Let's get back into it. All ready. All right, got a hair snake. We're just gonna run this up and down a little bit. Hopefully these bars will catch on whatever gunk is in here. We can pull it out and clean up things. Now I can already feel stuff in there, so hopefully we'll get most of it out. It might be down in the starting to grab it here. Now I have a feeling the ball rod, actually the ball rod is not rotted away, it's still in there. So we're just missing the stopper. So this portion is still in there, which is causing a little bit of problem with the hair snake. But we can get by it. We just have to make sure we try to keep the hair snake this way and not this way, so the barbs don't catch on the ball rod. We're in there. Grab anything you can. We're not catching anything. which means chances are I might have it down in the heat trap. We got a little bit out of there, but I have a feeling we got more in there. So let's find out. No, that little bit might have been it. That little bit of hair and gunk that I pulled out of there might have been all there was. Now remember, this was kind of draining just very slow, so there wasn't a whole lot in there. So if yours is not draining at all, you might have more stuff in there. But draining just fine now. So this is actually another way you can do it. Prefer you do it the full method. So if you watch the video that I'm going to link here at the end of this video, I prefer you do it that way. Otherwise, you may end up pushing your clog further down into the pipes. And if you get them into the wall and down into the pipe, then you're going to have to see about having it snaked out. So I'd rather you not do that. Do the full way if you can. If you can't, because of a situation like this, where you really can't get to everything to disconnect it, this is an alternative. Just prefer you don't do it this way if you don't have to. Now, if you had to pull the stopper out and the ball rod out, just make sure you put it back in. The stopper, you'll notice usually the little ring here on the bottom is usually offset to one side. It's usually not in the center. You want that offset part towards the back. So you don't want it towards the side or the front. You want it towards the back, because you need the ball rod to engage it. And if it's turned the other way, the ball rod might not be long enough to engage it. So just make sure you put it towards the back, slide your ball rod back in, make sure you tighten it down, check for leaks, and if everything's good, move on to your next project. Like I said, there are times when doing it this quick and dirty method may be your only way to do it, because you either don't have clear access to the drain pipes like I had here, or maybe your pipes are solvent welded together instead of joined with the slip nuts. So if you happen to find yourself in a situation where you end up pushing the clog further down the drain instead of pulling it out, I do have a couple solutions for you. Now you can get yourself a small little 1/4-inch drain snake like this and run it down the drain. Now this one's small enough that you still have the ball rod in. This one will fit between the ball rod and the sides of the drain pipe, so you don't need to pull the ball rod out. You just feed it up and down until you break through the clog. And it's also long enough that it'll go right through the P-trap and into the wall pipe. Now you can also get yourself a slightly larger one like this one. This is like about 5/16 of an inch. It'll require you to pull the ball rod out, but it will go through all the drain pipes. Now this one's better because you can actually spin it, and you can pop off this handle and put a drill on the back here, so it just makes it a little bit easier and a little bit better. The nice thing about this one is because you can spin it, it'll punch through the clog a lot easier. Plus it makes it easier to get through all the bends in your drain pipe. Now this one here will set you back, the small one here, will set you back about $12 at Home Depot, but I'm gonna put a link below to a couple of the 1/4-inch ones that actually spin like this one. And those will set you back about $19 to $25, but they are much better. Now the larger one like this rigid will probably be about double that cost, but it's still a little bit better, and both of them will work without taking all the drain pipes apart. Now if you have the option, go with the larger snake. It's just better all the way around. It won't wrap around itself and bind in the pipes like the smaller one, and for only about an extra $20 or so, it's just a better deal. Now as with everything I talk about or use in my videos, I'll put a link in the bio below to all this stuff. Now hopefully you found the content in this video as well as my other videos helpful. And if so, a tap on that thumbs up like button is greatly appreciated, along with subscribing to my channel. Now feel free to drop me a comment if you've had any other alternative methods for cleaning out your drain pipes, or maybe some strange things that you fished out of your pipes, or just a shout out to say hi. And I do want to take a moment to give a big thank you to all my subscribers that have already subscribed. I guess that's kind of redundant. And helping me to reach my goal of 15,000 by the end of next year. And if you haven't subscribed, now would be a really good time to do so. Now I'm also going to be conducting monthly drawings all year long, selecting subscribers at random to send some free Woggers Way merchandise. Also, if I reach 15,000 by the end of next year, I'm going to select at least another additional 10 subscribers to send some free merch. So, subscribe and get in on the drawings. And speaking of merch, if you'd like to get your hands on some Woggers Way merch, I'll put a link below to my merchandise shop. And if you want to win some free merch, other than, with these drawings I have, I'll put a link to my website page below, which tells you how to do that. And if you like links, before I go, I'll throw a link to one of my other engaging videos up over here for you shortly. So, thumbs up, subscribe, and get some merchandise. And look, hey, there's a link to subscribe. Yeah, I promise, that's my last link. So once again, this is your Uncle Brian saying thank you for tuning into my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Like that one. Bye now.